Welcome to Physics at UPEI. This screencast is to give you an introduction on how to log into the Moodle course management system and take the 3 short assessment tests that we would like you to take to help us get an idea of your preparedness for taking physics. To find the tests, you're going to have to go into the Moodle system. So one of the easiest ways is to log into any upei.ca website, and at the bottom there's a links of common tabs. One of them is for the Moodle, and you can click on that and it'll take you to the Moodle course management system. You can also type in moodle.upei.ca and it'll redirect to this one here, which is the current one, or you can go to your my.upei.ca site. There's a link right there. So I'm going to log in as a student, just so that you'll see something similar to what you would see when you log in. And when you go in, you're going to find your course. Now, your dashboard, since you're just starting out, would only have a limited number of courses, but as you go on, you're going to want to get the multiple ones here, so you can go into your current term, and then you can choose. I'm going to go into the Physics 1210 because that's the recording for this one. So when you go in, you're going to see different things depending on what the course instructor has made available. It's the start of the term. There's a lot of sections still hidden, right? But what you want to do is you want to go to the pre-course assessment. It might be closed, in which case you can open it. Close, open, open. Okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to see that there's a few different tests right there. If you have a background where you have a documented disability, please contact accessibility services as soon as possible, just for accommodations before you take the tests. The Screencast Interaction is available right here, but it's also being emailed out to you. So the tests that you've got there, there's numeracy, specific math skills, and visualization. So I'm just going to go over a quick example of how you'd go in. So when you click on it initially, what happens is it gives you a basic description of what we want you to do, and then it tells you what you've got. Now in this case here, it says that you've got 2 attempts allowed, and that's just so that if you do the first one and you want to review any material and take it again, you can do so. Okay, I already took one, so you can see an example of my previous attempt, and I'm going to reattempt my quiz because that would be my second time. Okay, so say I go in and I reattempt. What it's going to do is it's going to tell you the time limit, which is 20 minutes. Generally speaking, people would take between 6 and 15, but you might need the full 20 minutes. Okay, so when you're ready and you have the full 20 minutes, make sure that you hit the start attempt, and you'll go in and you'll see a bunch of different questions. There's a database, so you're not necessarily going to see these exact questions. So what I'm going to do right here is I am just going to choose things, and I'm going to deliberately mess up and not choose necessarily everything. And I'm going to leave a couple things blank. Okay. And then I'm going to hit finish attempt. And what it's going to do is it's going to give you a summary. And you can see there that number 5 I had an incomplete, and number 8 I had an incomplete. So since I've only taken a little bit of time, I can return to the attempt. Okay, and then what ends up happening is I can go down to those same questions and make sure that it's complete. Okay, so it's a good idea to just at least glance at those things and make sure that you haven't skipped any questions before you want to hit finish attempt. So now you go in, and because I've completed all the questions, it says the answers are saved, and I can submit all and finish when you're happy with it. Okay, so you go here and you submit all, and it's going to grade it automatically. And then what ends up happening is it's going to give you a feedback based on what kind of mark you got. Now, you can see, just hitting random numbers here, I didn't do very well. So I got 10%. And what that said is, maybe you had computer issues, like you crashed or something else happened. In which case you can contact Lisa Seal, which is me, at this email address in order to tie the test again. I can go into our database and I see a record of everything that you do in terms of Moodle. I should just be aware of that. And if there's a visible sign, which is pretty indicative that there is computer issues, I can delete it. And as long as it's before the deadline, you can try it again. Okay. Otherwise, you've got the 2 attempts. Just take your time. But these are supposed to be just an assessment thing, so they're not necessarily meant for you to look things up or study while you're taking the test, in which case you might need more than the 20 minutes. Okay. You do have 2 attempts, so go through and finish that. Now, that's there. If I go back then, and I go and I try to click on that same one, because I've hit my limit of 2, it doesn't let me try it again, right? So I can go back to the course, but it does have the previous information that in terms of the 2, you can see that just hitting random ones, when I tried it the first time, I got 2.5 or 0.83. So, and that's marked out of 10. Sorry, out of 8. So there you go. Okay. Now, another thing I want to show you is underneath the quiz is some resources that you can do, especially if you do badly and you want to sort of check out what we mean by numeracy and what sort of information you want to check out. So that just goes to a website page where it just gives some links and some definitions. Okay. There's 3 tests. We encourage you to do them anytime you want, but before the deadline, which is September 16th at midnight. And beyond that, one thing that we'd recommend you do is you open up the general learning and studying tips. There's a lot of ones in here that are just general ones for any subject right here, right? It's like this one, first one, is a good recommended one, hence it's being first. It's on the psychology of how humans can effectively study, right? But there's also physics specific ones that you can see there. Okay. Now, feel free to email your course instructor, Derek Lawther, at dlawther@upei.ca. If you have any questions, if you have any issues with this, you can also email me. Thank you, and good luck with studying at physics.